Create a workable tactic within 10 minutes on Football Manager 2023? Well, follow these 5 steps. Okay, I have used a random club picker on the sortitoutsi.net website to pick Auda in Latvia as the club I'm going to use in this video. Now, the first thing you need to do is set a preset tactic. So your assistant manager, when you join the club, will give you a big thumbs up for some 3 usually tactical styles. So we've got wing play, route 1 and fluid counter-attack. Now I know nothing about this side. I know none of the players. I barely know the league itself. So I'm just going to choose one of them. I've chosen fluid counter-attack. And then from there, you've got formations that work with that tactical style and one that is recommended for your players by your assistant manager, which I've clicked on, the 4-2-3-1 with DMs and AMs and wides and everything like that. I'm just going to pick a best 11. This is the first thing you need to do. Just set some team up, some formation up, some tactic up, so you have a base to work with. From there, you can tweak it and sort it out and however you need to get it to work for your actual team. Now, the first thing you need to do is go to the squad planner and you can have a look at your best 11. It will give your assistant manager view basically of all of your positions, but you want to go to the comparison page on the report, and this will compare your squad against the rest of the league. So we're going to go through position by position, attribute by attribute. You can see here, goalkeeping wise, we are the highest in the league for kicking and reflexes, got good command of the area. Defense is not quite as good, but there are basically only one thing, which is pace, which is below the league average. Midfield, stamina is up there. That means we should probably be pressing quite a lot. We've got the stamina in our midfield to get basically in the face of the opposition, finishing as a low attribute for our attack, and so is pace once again. So pace is potentially something we want to avoid in our tactics. Stamina, once again, on the physical side of things is right up there. Mental side of things, we are very brave, so we want to be probably getting stuck in with our tackling, and on the technical side of things, we are pretty much at or above average in everything. And then what you can do is you can show certain positions through this comparison tool. So we want to look at the defensive attributes and just the defenders. So we are good in the air. We want to be we're good with strength, marking, tackling, heading. Tackling is the worst thing. Heading, marking, jumping, everything like that is really good for our defense. Midfield, you can see here again, you can just basically show only the midfielders in this, and once again, pretty much above average for everything on the attribute side of things. Long shots is one there as well. We might want to have long shots in our tactic. We'll have a look in a second. On the attack side of things, heading and jumping reach is the highest in the league. Maybe we want to have a target forward in our tactic to basically be a spearhead for our attack, get the balls to the target forward, let him knock it down. He can't finish as well. His finishing is only 11, so it's slightly above league average, but we maybe want to bring that into our tactic. So we're going to have a look from here. This is the base tactic that we've downloaded, and we want to go with a slightly high tempo. We've got the stamina, I think. Maybe we want to push that tempo a little bit more. We're going to push it up to higher. Let's try that out for the beginning. I think that's the only thing we want to change here. We don't really need to do anything about width. In transition, we want to counter, and we want to counter press, distribute quickly, get the ball moving very, very fast, because we've got the stamina to keep up that sort of pace. And out of possession, we want to get stuck in. We've got that bravery with that tackling ability, but we haven't got the pace, so we probably want to drop off more. We'll go back into the squad planner and check things out as you're going through this. I'm not going to do it as perfectly as I could if I'd spend more time on it. I'm trying to do it quickly to show you it can be done quickly, but pace and acceleration are low against the league average for our defenders, so we probably want to drop off a little bit, not be pressing up too high and getting caught in behind and being unable to basically catch up with the attack that's coming at us. As mentioned, we want to have a target forward. He's got good heading. We're going to put him as a target forward, and then we're probably going to get our distribution to that target forward as well. But we're going to look at player roles now and positions. We've had a look through the instructions. We probably don't want to have wing backs on both flanks, looking at here, because that's going to leave us a little bit more exposed at the back. So, and if we're having as well, we need to basically think about how our wingers and our wing backs link up as well. So we're going to have a wing back on attack on the right, a full back on support on the left. Our goalkeeper is good and we'll be sweeping up behind the defence. We're going to put our sweeper keeper on attack as well. We've got our target forward. In fact, whilst we're here, we want to distribute to our target forward as well. That's going to basically open up our attack and our counters, get the ball to him, he can hold it up and distribute it around. Do we want to change anything in position? Not right now. We want to have a look at these wingers, basically. So this guy here, our left winger, Mortalagay, I don't think he's good. Yeah, he's better as an actual winger. And we've got our fullback on support here. So we can have our winger on attack. But on the other flank, we don't want our winger on attack because we've already got a wing back on attack. That's going to create too much space behind the wing back. We need the winger to be on support, basically, having them mix and match there as well to basically provide a bit of balance. We probably want our attacking midfielder to be on support as well because we've got a target forward on attack. We want a bit of balance there. And in the central of defence, we've got 2 defensive midfielders, which works really well on Football Manager 2023. And there's plenty of options with these defensive midfielders. Because of the way we've got our mentality as a counter-attack, we probably want both of these on either support or defend. So we don't want to have too much basically attacking going on from the middle of the park. In fact, I think we might go with both on defend. So we've got a ball-winning midfielder and a defensive midfielder both on defend. Tweak that as you like. Add different instructions to the player as you like to get that a little bit more suited to what you want. We're going to overlap on the right as well because we've got that wing back who's looking to make runs offensively and get forward a little bit more. We might want to look at getting a role for this right winger that's not going to stay wide, that's going to cut inside, so maybe an inverted winger could work here as well, but we're going to keep the winger on support just for now and see how we get on. We're going to have, what haven't we looked at? I don't think we've looked at our central defenders. He's not quite as good as an inside forward and inverted winger. Maybe that would be better tactically, but for the players we've got, we'll keep him as a winger on support for now. Mentality, that's another thing we need to look at. We're going to go with cautious because we're not going to basically be attacking as much. We want to. It's all about the mentality of where you lose possession and where you want to gain possession and all. So cautious is fine. We don't need to be too attacking. There's a myth that you need to have all of your mentality as positive or attacking to do anything going forward. You can attack well sitting back and having a more cautious mentality. We might want to have our target forward move into channels as well, create more space as well, but we're going to try and limit the amount of extra instructions we add on at this stage. There's time for that later. And the central defenders we haven't looked at yet, we've got currently a ball-playing defender and a central defender, but I think having 2 central defenders here on defend might work well together. The other 2 options are stopper and cover. If you have 1 stopper, 1 cover, that will work out quite well. But I think given the line we've got here and how we're dropping back a little bit and basically standing off more, we want 2 central defenders on defence because if we have a stopper and a cover, one will go out further and try and stop the ball. But we've got that lower defensive line. We've got a mid-block as our current starting line of engagement. That could change when we get into the next phase of things, which is basically testing it out in game. Also, given that we've got really strong central defenders and we've got that core 4 square basically there of defensive roles, we're going to try and force the opposition inside. We're going to try and trap them inside. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this tactic. I'll create a tactic here, our 4-2-3-1, and then we're going to simulate forward a month, maybe 2, get about 5 to 10 games under our belt and see what the game suggests as a analysis on this tactic. It's a good thing to do basically if you're not sure about the team at all. Just play some games. I'm going on holiday, so it's going to not quite be as good as watching the games itself. But when you're watching the games, you'll be able to see what's happening with your tactic, whether it's working how you'd expect and against the opposition that you'd expect. But we're going to make use of the data hub and basically get the game to analyse our tactic for us and see if we can get better than our season prediction of 3rd place with Auda. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate forward now. We're in February. We're going to simulate forward to the beginning of May to get sort of 8 or 9 games under our belt and analyse the tactic and see what changes we need to make this one a real good winning tactic. Okay, we have simulated forward, and as you can see here, we're currently sitting 4th, but we've got a game in hand, so we could be 3rd, which would be right on target with our prediction. We've played 8 games, the rest of the teams around us have played 9. We started out really well, won the first 4 games, and then dropped a game here against Valmiera, and then against Riga as well. So out of the last 4, we've only won 1. But it looks like a pretty decent starting point as a tactic if we'd taken more time and we could have tweaked it a little bit more, got it a little bit better to begin with. Maybe come in and actually watching the games would have allowed us to see some of the things we're going to probably tweak here earlier by seeing the actual games unfold. But as we've holidayed, this is kind of the issue we've got is we've holidayed, so we haven't seen all of the action. We're going to rely on the data hub and the recent match analysis. You can see here there are a few negatives that are red down arrows. They are what we want to correct, and we can do that directly from the data hub. So if you click on those negatives, it will take you here and it'll tell you about them and tell you the recommendation to remove it as a negative as well. You can basically be looking at the last 5 matches. You can toggle different matches out, but these are the matches that we've had issues in. We've only won 1. Oh no, we've won 2 of these 5 matches. Drawn 1, lost 2 as well. But there's long-range shots, goals conceded in the penalty area, and opposition goals from long-range shots. So we're going to have a few options here to change them. You can click directly on them as well, but we're going to drop the line of engagement down as well and maybe compress it a little bit more with a higher defensive line. I'm not sure whether that pressing trap inside is working fantastically, but we'll keep it on there because that's it's not one of the things that's been highlighted immediately. And working the ball into the box is an instruction that has been recommended by our data staff, so we're going to try and do that one as well. But first we'll move this defensive line up here. And is there anything else we want to change from the analysis? What did we say? We wanted to work the ball into the box, didn't we? Yes, we'll do that. We'll put that there as well and see if that helps out. And we're probably going to go through the rest of the month of May to see if these changes have an impact on the tactic. Again, we'll get some more analysis from the 5 matches that we'll play in the meantime, and they'll replace the negatives here, and we'll be able to tweak them like that. Obviously, you can do this more iteratively throughout basically the season as you go on. If you're not too tied to the tactic you've created, you can continually change it. Basically do this every 5 games, see your negatives and change them. They'll be different. As you change things, you'll have different negatives and different positives, and that is basically how you adapt this tactic going forward. So we're going to simulate through to the end of May now. I think that's going to be another 5 or 6 games from this point in the game, and we'll see how we get on at about halfway point of the season. So we've gone through to the end of May, the beginning of June. We have now played 15 league games. We are third quite comfortably, 5 behind second, 5 ahead of fourth. We've won all bar 3 games, so we've won 4 out of 7 in this stint. Probably could have been a better bet if we've dropped in a little bit earlier. We might have changed a few more things. We only lost 1 game, and we're currently on 30 points, 9 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. Basically bang on target with where we would be, but with zero knowledge about the club, about the players, just from the tactics. You can see we've got a new set of negatives which we can basically change. So touches to goal ratio is a problem. We can change the tempo, we can change the shoot on sight, get more shots basically, and losing possession is also a problem for this specific player. This is our left winger. We can change his personal instructions here as well. Obviously there are positives from the tactic. Definitely look into those and see what you can do to basically accentuate your positives. One thing that won't have helped is our goalkeeper got injured mid-month and has been out for the rest of the month, and will be out for most of June as well. That's not going to help. But what we can do is we can basically try and address these negatives. We can add these instructions onto the team instructions and to specific players that come through the data hub. This is one of the really, basically the main thing I do through the data hub is tweaking my tactics and using the instructions, that the assistant has done to basically tweak our tactic to get it working a little bit better. So this is basically where we're going to leave this video. We've done some tweaks. We've gone through a 5-step process basically of preset tactic, analyze your team, adjust your team instructions, adjust your roles, and then play test. They're the 5 steps. Follow those 5 steps, iterate through, and you'll have a tactic that works perfectly. No matter what team you've got, you'll get to a point of a perfect tactic eventually, even if you've got zero knowledge about the players, the staff, the league, the team, anything. Please try this process out. Let us know how it works in the comments down below, and watch this video as well because you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next one.